Alright, yes, intro, now. So today's episodes are Vis-a-Vis with Tom Paris and
intro.
fake Tom Paris. The Omega Directive, where it's a very secret protocol, nobody can know about it. That's why every console on the ship says it right on the screen. And Unforgettable with a lady who looks a lot like Kess. And it's a Chakotay episode, and it's weird. Chakotay romances a woman who looks like Kess. Except she's forgettable. For reasons. Plot reasons. Anyway. So I hear Jake Sisko started the Dominion War. What's up with that?
I mean, it's a perfect match for Chakotay.
Savage. Poor Chakotay. I think Chakotay episodes are even more rare than Omega molecules.
Yeah.
He never had a chance.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair to say.
Also, yes, the Discord chat, there was some confusion about this last week. The Discord's just open to anyone. There's just a link in the description if you want to do Discord. There you go. Just hop in. It's fine. But no, what? You started mentioning something before the stream about Jake Sisko's science project starting the Dominion War. What's up? What happened? What do you mean?
So if someone post here, I'll send you a link. Someone just said, hey, here's my theory that the science project started the Dominion War, and the science project was, hey, go to the Gamma Quadrant, go on a planet, and find bugs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was their spot. You can't just do that. Just trespassing.
I mean, honestly, isn't that what Federation's known for? Killing silicon-based life, trespassing, and definitely not being a military.
Pillaging. A lot of pillaging. It's not pillaging, it's archaeology. It's fine.
Be that Cardassian's an archaeologist, not a grave robber.
Yeah.
It's a complete misunderstanding.
So for real though, what is this first episode? There's an alien that doesn't romance Tom, that's later. This is a different alien. But he like hangs out and they're best buddies and they bond over cars or something.
He's an identity thief, so like imagine if someone ran up a shit ton of credit and then stuck the old face on your credit fine face.
What? I have no idea what you just said. What?
Okay,
They
so
stick
imagine
their
if,
credit on your credit fine face? What?
Okay, so imagine someone could hop personalities and or bodies.
Sure.
So person A jumps to person B. Person B accumulates a shit ton of credit. Person A, who's in person B, jumps to person C, and person C jumps into person B's body, having to deal with the ramifications of what person A did.
Oh my god, this is worse than Tenet.
It's just musical chairs, but with bodies.
Okay. Sure, that probably made sense. I like half followed it, but that's okay. Because I remember there's a body swap. Tom becomes alien, alien becomes Tom. That's what I remember. And it's all sketchy. The fact that the crew picks up on it, I mean, they have to pick up on it really fast because the episode has to end in 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just totally normal for Starfleet. All these crazy things happen, and like the Beverly Crusher, there's something wrong with the universe episode. Beverly starts thinking like hundreds of people have disappeared. The universe is shrinking. Everyone's like, yeah, no, that seems legit. Also, we should press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Everyone in Starfleet always believes each other no matter what. Because they've all seen crazy stuff.
Well, I think the worst person to replace on the crew is Tom Paris because he's got like 5 different specialty jobs, and it's pretty obvious if you replace him and you don't know any of them.
Is
And
the
then
grease
they keep on trying
holographic?
to shove. Yep. And then they keep on trying to shove him to become a nurse.
He is a nurse.
It's like he can build shuttles, he can fly the ship, he can be a doctor when needed. I think there's 1 or 2 other things.
God, Tom, there's only so many holodecks. You can't hog it all the time. Though, why can't you hog it all the time? Because it can keep you separate from the other people. The holodeck doesn't care.
So this may sound weird, but wouldn't most um surgical procedures in the 24th century be akin to like those automatic AEDs? Step 1, please remove AED. Step 2.
Northern California, that's where I am. No, we don't do
Poor
highway.
man.
We do Highway 101, Tom. Highway 1. I guess you. The thing about Highway 1, it's all along the coast, but I wouldn't really describe it as northern. Because here's something that bothers me about California. People say Northern California is like San Francisco, even though San Francisco's smack dab in the middle of the state. People consider north just like halfway up. And that's not accurate.
No, Northern California is essentially is actually supposed to be Bigfoot country. If
I
you
ain't
do
never
the
seen no
sheer
Bigfoot.
if you do the sheer numerical account, California outbeats Washington State for Bigfoot sightings.
0?
The, the dramatic possibilities of a Bigfoot county are amazing.
Is it alien or is that another Federation timeship?
Yet the engineer isn't here to identify that.
Well, I mean, she's down at the very far side of the ship. She's busy.
Man, we should like just start like loading up a bunch of patterns of Tom Paris. I mean, we don't need anyone else. They're kind of superfluous at this point.
1 billion kilometers. Okay, let me see how much of the solar system that is. I don't know offhand. Is that like Jupiter? Distance from. Okay, Jupiter is about 740 million kilometers, so it's like a little past Jupiter. So yeah, that'd be bad. Basically destroy an entire star system.
That'd be to the sun and back 33 times.
Not ideal. Not strictly ideal. So what qualifies Bigfoot country? Where does Bigfoot country stop?
It's just any area that has an inordinate amount of Bigfoot sightings, which are more than one or more than 0.
What if I've never seen a Bigfoot?
Then you're not in Bigfoot country.
Or you're a
Okay.
very unlucky man.
I mean, I've seen a lot of deer in the forests.
You ever
Are
see a
deer
nut deer?
Bigfoot? They have very small feet.
No, but it's not called deer country, isn't it?
There are some bears. Just black bears, though. No grizzlies or anything.
Excuses, excuses.
Come on, explode! Destroy Voyager! Take it down! Vis-a-vis is French, right? What does that translate to? What does that mean?
Life is life. I
Oh.
think.
Okay, so that translation doesn't actually help. What does life is life mean?
Oh, sorry. It means face to face.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense in this context.
Yeah, that is very on the nose.
Also, I went to Google Translate to do vis-a-vis, and it translated vis-a-vis to vis-a-vis. That's so unhelpful.
Yeah, because it's an expression.
How do you... Never mind.
No. How do you what?
How do you fold space?
Carefully. Very carefully.
Following the
First,
borders.
I have to take a 3-week origami course.
The chronogami.
Oh, God, Oh, Crisis Point. Right, okay. It's like, what is that from? I know I've heard that recently. No, we need Worf here just to shoot him. Just shoot him.
So, apparently, according to behind the scenes commentary, Jerry Taylor kept on messing up her eye lines because she kept on looking at his forehead nose.
Okay. Well, the
It's
subtitles
very
covered the
distracting.
director's name, but it was really long. This actor sounds familiar. Who's this dude?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Daniel Eugene Butler. Okay, who's that? So this is his only Star Trek episode. It was in Silence of the Lambs, but as I don't know who Rodin is. One episode of House, one episode of Supernatural.
Is one of these actors that, yeah, is this guy from that place.
He's done a ton of different things, but only in one episode each. He's a professional guest star.
I want that in a greetings card.
There was totally nothing in that cup when he put it down.
Is he accusing him of quiet quitting? Or just doing the letter of his job?
Wow, that's such a stupid term. That's literally just doing your job. But yes, he is.
Sorry, I believe the union phrase of saying it is work to term.
So Balana? We need Balana on the job, right?
So he's being punished by giving him what he wants.
So it's like the Star Trek 4 ending with the You are being demoted to the rank of captain and being given a ship and crew.
And this is the fridge.
Oh, don't say ancient.
Ironically, Tom would have actually preferred that.
Yeah. No living man they are. You looketh upon a woman. That's a Lord of the Rings reference. Is that a gun? That looks like a gun. Is he about to shoot Tom? There was a real close-up of that thing. There's no way that's not a weapon.
You might call it a Chekhov gun?
Oh
Huh?
my god.
Good one. Who
We
are
just
you and what have
met-
you done as Tom Paris?
Why would B'Elanna care? Oh yeah, they're officially dating now. You just remembered your chief engineer isn't here to repair the starship? Tom. Frickin' Tom. Why do I feel like he's about to lie to her? No, he's not even going to mention it. Cool. No, you're not. Tom, do you want to get the engineer in on this? Maybe? A little bit? Any of the engineering crew, in fact?
Warwick, even?
Frickin' God, what's his... Lieutenant Carey would be doing a better job. He's literally an engineer. Come on.
He's the one who passed Starfleet engineering qualifications.
Solid C minus. It's good enough.
Hey, C- is still a passing grade.
Yeah. You know what they call chief engineer, who was bottom of their class? Chief engineer. Granted, he was chief engineer for all of, like, 20 minutes, but still. God, Tom, you're a terrible boyfriend.
Honestly, B'Elanna isn't overreacting. She's explicitly saying, hey, you're not here for me. This relationship isn't working. There's
To be fair to Tom,
clear shutdown in communication.
B'Elanna has her problems in the relationship too. She's currently pregnant by a different guy. And that's, He's probably not terribly happy about that. Ooh, I just noticed he has that control orb in the middle. Alien species love their control orbs.
So, when I first saw this years ago, I thought he was the coalescent life form,
Like the dog?
like the dog. And I thought this was so fascinating because you're seeing essentially a creature that is forced to kill and replace people, only to realize, oh, it's just a guy who commits identity theft.
Ah, not a guy, though. Though, strictly speaking, I don't think he's a woman either. I don't think
I think
gender
the
is
person
relevant to
that
his
he
species.
I think the person that he turns into is the cop from before.
Sure, yep. Sounds good.
Yes, technobabble.
And the new Star Trek, they find a way to make the technobabble sound ridiculous for some reason.
Can you
It
give
always
me an
sounds
example?
ridiculous.
Not in all cases, but in in the majority of cases, I believe.
Not for long, Tom, if you keep it up.
I think the problem is that he isn't keeping it up.
Yeah, I can see why Seven kept staring at his forehead. That's weird. He has, like, scent channels on his face.
So the thing is, he has two noses.
I guess. Also, the fact that it keeps zooming in on Tom, panning away from the dude, this is definitely the scene Tom gets stabbed. Or shot. You get it? Because he's a shapeshifter.
Foreshadowing.
It's not even foreshadowing, it's just regular shadowing. We've already seen it.
If anything, it's backshadowing.
Front and back shadowing.
Hey, do you be like a really great date night? Bringing Balana in here and explaining your psychology behind why you spend hours in here. And maybe
With
come to
Steph.
talk. Yeah. I mean, it's either that or Harry, come on.
No, then he'd have to talk to his girlfriend, and that's gross. She wouldn't understand. She's not one of the guys.
I mean, it's not like she could literally break Tom Paris in half.
That was easy.
Starfleet has terrible operational security.
Also, we really need a remaster of this so I can read what that screen says on Tom's file. I need to know. It's too blurry.
There's actually something really funny about that. A lot of the remasters show Easter eggs and inadvertently
Yes.
make alien names sound really human as a result.
Like what?
There was like a list of like Cardassians Odo wanted to interview, and like the first 5 sound normal, and then the rest are just costume department heads.
Ah. Shoot him! Hit him with a barrel!
He's not even like a civilian on a Starfleet vessel. Like he's not even O'Brien, where he's a non-commissioned officer. He's literally just some alien given free reign about the ship.
I
This
do
is
like the
why-
windows here. These are good windows.
Yeah. But like this is why like people end up being kidnapped or replaced or being turned into unwitting assassins like Geordie the Forge.
So, yes to all of that, but also did you see, in Tom's case, he has a self-sealing stem bolt.
I didn't see that.
They painted it blue. But it's definitely a self-sealing stem bolt. Oh my
You're
god, just
invading
shoot
my
him already,
personal
come on.
space.
Quit being creepy about it and just shoot him.
Okay. I know this sounds weird, but wouldn't there be enough cellular residue on like anything, like a handshake or just passing tools to one another?
Yeah, probably. Humans just flake all over the place. You could find DNA anywhere.
Like honestly, if he just said, "Do you have any idea how much dead skin I've been breathing in since coming aboard?
Gross. Your species is gross.
You're all slimy, like your insides are all wet. I don't understand anything about you. Your brain is 3 pounds of fat."
I, I will actually love that.
So, Steth stripped Tom naked
I
and then
believe
dressed him
so.
again in Steth's clothes. Gross.
So, what's Stess's endgame here? How is he gonna just keep on hopping from people to person on a enclosed vessel? You know what I mean?
Well, because Voyager stops to talk to literally every ship they come across and every station, every planet, so that he can find an opportunity to leave. But for now, he gets to fruit. For now, he gets to just have a family. Or he can keep samples of Tom's weird skin flakes. How much faster do you want to go? You already achieved Warp 10. What do you want? So is it just me, or do they put a little bit of makeup under his eyes?
Make him look tired?
Yeah.
Maybe?
It's like he's got some bags. What you doing? Oh, is it a clarinet? Oh, wait, what?
Oh, golf.
Oh god, he's gonna hit Ensign Kaplan with a golf club.
Huh. I'd be a pretty good identity theft. I'm really good at picking up context clues.
Ah. Though, how much work does it really require to make the club? Surely you just ask the computer.
If
Make me a set of
anything,
polyturnide golf clubs.
I mean, now granted, you might have to consult sickbay to get their measurements. That way they don't throw out their back. But it should be fairly simple to replicate.
Also, why are they making physical golf clubs instead of holographic golf clubs? They're not going to play in the hallways.
Do you want a real like meta reason for it, or an actual like psychological reason behind it that's been theorized for a while?
Yes.
Okay, so the holodeck actually does create physical objects, not just holographic
Sure.
images. It's why people can walk out wet out of the holodeck, come out with lipstick on their face, or in one case, like John Picard, end up being hit by a snowball. The reason why people like to bring in physical items into the holodeck, like going in costume, is to lessen the strain that the holodeck has to do in order to actually create holographic images. So it could overlay costumes over you, but in means of basically just speeding up the processor, they just
But it
don't
creates
have the
entire
computer do it.
people in the holodeck, crowds of people. How much CPU overhead can there possibly be from a golf club?
I mean,
Can't be
the
that
computer had to
hard.
stall for time in Crisis Point too.
I love that theory of helping the computer to render things, but it's a don't worry about it situation.
Of course, you could just say, hey, maybe they just develop physical attachments to certain objects and they just want to take them off the holodeck.
Jesus, Doc.
You airheaded algorithm.
Honestly, the doctor's right here. He is superior in many ways.
Hmm.
He doesn't
I
flake
mean,
skin all over the place like a gross human.
He
he
understands the strength and certainty of steel.
he is Robert Picardo. I mean, he is superior.
Also, he defeated Grendel, the monster. Oh no, is Death gonna be a better boyfriend than Tom? I I have a number of concerns on where this scene might go.
You think she's going to kneecap him?
No, I think he's gonna trick her into some stuff with troubling moral implications.
Oh, pull a Zeus. Got it.
God, frickin' Zeus. Dude needs to chill out. Okay, no, it's not going that way. Good.
Now I can see the thing under his eyes. Now you mention it.
It's how you tell the difference. Steth Tom is always tired. Alana, kill him. Even if this was real Tom, this is just creepy. Why you gotta say it like that?
Yeah, it's kind of sus.
Okay, yeah, troubling moral implications it is.
Huh, it looks kind of Dominion-y.
It can't be a Dominion ship, though. It has a chair. I feel like Stez should have set the ship to auto-destruct. Okay. Oh. No, very convenient. We got some friends here. Wonder if Voyager ever meets the Benthans, because if so, maybe they could trade for some tech, maybe get a coaxial drive.
Mhm.
Or not the Benthans. Oh, so he'll have quite a bit of time on Voyager. He has at least a year.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
He can kill one crewman a year. That should be fine. Accidents happen all the time.
Mhm.
Jesus, how much did you bring? Did you clear it with the captain?
Oh God. Yeah, no, I think they did the dude.
They totally did. 100%. She might. She's done it before. She's executed one crewman, nearly lobotomized another.
You mean Balana?
Yeah.
Honestly, they should just bring up just a list of grievances. What happened here? You stranded us here. You almost got me lobotomized.
Like the Lower Decks episode where crewmen just start complaining.
Which one?
The recent one.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Veritas for a hot second.
I don't remember which one that is. I don't remember the titles of the episodes so well.
The trial by eels.
Oh, the trial by eels. Yes. They're friendship eels. It's fine. They're there for dramatic effect. So I imagine he's going to start hitting on Seven, and she's going to call him out. Does she punch him? I don't think she punches him. I bet this is a remove your arm situation.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Hi. Also, what? What are you talking about, Tom?
You know, JJ. You know, the phrase "c'est la vie," you know, that's life. The V is different than the vis, vis-a-vis.
Ah.
But good job working on your French knowledge.
Oh, called it. Remove your hand. No punching. Just walk away,
Okay, so
report
here's
him to the
something
captain.
I never understood about Star Trek and shape-shifting doppelgangers.
We
Why
get
can
more,
they
right?
never just hold it in for a minute?
We
No.
get
Chill out?
we get Paris and Kim's doppelgangers in a little bit too, right?
The demon?
Yeah. But I'm sorry. What here's so you were saying, JJ, about the
Okay.
thing about Trek doppelgangers.
Okay, why are they always so hostile and always drawing attention to themselves?
They can't hold
Like-
in the aggression. They can't deal with it. They're just evil.
Like, I almost had a stroke one episode of watching an episode of TNG because I'm like, wait, so you want to protect one person by exposing yourself to a virus, by killing the person with the virus, and you've been antagonistic and hostile to the crew the entire time? I'm having a stroke here.
Yeah.
I don't even know what
Tro-
episode you're talking about. When did that happen in TNG?
also, when Troy and Data and I think O'Brien are just like evil.
Mhm.
So there, I think I always confuse it with the episode Menage a Troy. But,
It's power play.
Thank you. That's between those two. I always get because there's 3 Troys. You know, that's what Menage a Troy means. So
But who's a third?
I don't know. I mean,
There-
I was just trying to figure out the title. I think. Anyway.
You were talking about power play?
Yeah. Well, basically, it's the same thing that you were trying to imply. Like, she has a dark, deep voice. She's ordering them to like kill people. She's like threatening to like liquidate people because she's so badass.
Honestly, I think Marina Circus just absolutely adores that episode. Oh my god!
Now the question is Janeway the alien now?
Yes.
Yes.
So this goes back to oh, but also I want to say, Ryan, so I used to like be a college Republican and I was like really active in like those circles. So Northern California is basically Orange County. And like I understand it's not Orange County, but like for me, San Francisco, I'm a New Yorker, right? San Francisco is definitely Southern California because culturally, Silicon Valley, LA, the major
Wait,
city.
you just said Orange County is Northern California?
Yeah, because you know
That's
what?
like as far south as you can get, man. That's by Mexico.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me shut up then. Okay, because I just know it's whiter and more Republican, and that's what makes it like culturally different than the rest of California. But in New York, so here I live in New York City, and for me, the northern county of us, Westchester, is upstate New York. But if you talk to somebody who lives in like Albany or Rochester or like the border of Canada, they're like, yeah, that like Westchester County is downstate New York. It's not upstate New York. So upstate and downstate is totally relative. But yeah, I don't know where Orange County is. Sorry. Oops.
But if Janeway's the
I'm not
alien,
even-
why
I'm
would
not even from your continent, so I'm gonna say yes to whatever you say.
Okay. If Janeway were the alien, why would real Janeway, who looks like Tom, have been strangling alien Janeway?
Because
So
real
Mike-
Tom was trying to neutralize the threat to the ship.
He's trying to kill Bride of Chaotica. But
go
no,
ahead.
feigning an attack
Yeah.
would actually be a great way to throw off the scent.
Some sort of identity thief.
I also want to say there's a TOS episode about Jack the Ripper, and I think like philosophically, it's one of my favorite. Like to me, it's the most important idea that Trek has given to me. And considering that like I get all my ideas from Star Trek, like it's saying a lot. And
Which idea is that?
the idea that like Jack the Ripper's ghost like jumps around from planet to planet, turning people into psychopathic killers. And I'm not going to explain why, you know, because it'll go on. It has to do with like the religious ideas of like how a very high-ranking sage from the past can like show up. Not. But anyway, I'm not going to get into it here. The Christian logos, basically. But the thing is that this is kind of playing off of that, where like somehow there's a non-corporeal being and it can jump bodies.
Uh, and I believe there is an episode of Babylon 5 also with Jack the Ripper, like some kind of entity.
Yeah.
Yes, he was kidnapped by the Vorlons to be essentially a judge for moral character,
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
which sounds absolutely batshit insane when you think about it.
Well, that's Babylon 5.
Yeah, it do be like that.
I love the show. I love Babylon 5, but it's basic crazy.
Like, I love how essentially the below decks of Babylon 5 is just a complete shithole.
Yeah, yes.
So I wanted to say that at the beginning of this episode, like when this guy in red, the not bad guy, he's like almost kissing Tom Paris. He just wants to spend a lot of time with Tom, and he just like actually he doesn't want him to leave. Like, I just want to be with you, Tom. Like, don't break up with me.
Okay, Harry Kim.
Yeah.
God, I love it when Mulgrew can become malicious.
Evil Janeway.
Oh, she was wearing the black gloves, right? The last week when she was
Living witness.
yeah. And then also in the episode we have coming up where the Doctor sees how another species recorded Voyager in history, and like, Janeway is like, yeah, let's just do genocide, like casually committing genocide. That's how evil the Federation warship Voyager was.
No,
So she gets her.
that episode gave me my best quote ever
Mhm.
out of Star Trek. Defeat, genocide, why squabble over semantics?
Jesus.
So my favorite line by Janeway is dismissed. That's Starfleet for get out. But in the Omega Directive episode, Janeway says the Prime Directive is rescinded. So I think like that's basically like F the Prime Directive. That's what she would have wanted to say. Janeway does have the best lines, if I can say so.
Hey, Mulgrew just loves being evil.
And, Ryan, I was thinking, right? We should just count how many times Janeway tries to destroy the ship. I know, like, we're halfway through the show, but that should be the thing, because every time she orders auto destruct sequence, ping.
It might be a little late.
Yeah.
Also, do we get to see real alien not Steph? Oh, that's real alien
Oh.
not Steph. Kinda.
That's Jack the Ripper.
Well, the latest. I mean, probably know this could have just been some poor cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The body of the poor cop who was trying to arrest Death.
So we're gonna give B'Elanna some therapy, right? For the whole interaction with fake Tom.
Oh God, no.
Yeah. This is the therapy. You get to sit in his classic car.
And ruminate on the fact that you were violated by an alien. This isn't a ghost candle situation.
But I want to say, like, these classic cars, they're so, like, we're in 2020 now. You never see them anymore. So I'm really glad, like, in the 90s, we get to appreciate it thanks to Tom Paris.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
it's even cooler now, the Thunderbirds and all that.
If I had
Fins.
crazy billionaire money,
Mm-hmm.
I would make an electric DeLorean.
Mm-hmm. Camaro.
Camaro. Get her out of your life again. She's not worth it.
Honestly,
She's
I
not-
love. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I love the really bad pronunciation of stuff, so I want them to say, yes, we're on the ship of dreams, the Titanic.
Yeah, and
Jesus.
I also like when the classic car is on, like, Utopia Planatia of Mars. It's like, what kind of date is this?
Well, you gotta hang out at Utopia Planitia while it's still there.
Yeah, I mean, it's only going to be there for another. What star date is this?
200 years, let's say. Or
It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything.
30 years.
All right, 1 minute to the Omega Directive. Everyone cue up the Omega Directive.
Uh-oh. Classified orders.
Also, the Star Wars show The Bad Batch has ruined the word Omega for me. Because one of the characters frequently says the word Omega with a thick New Zealand accent. So now
Omega.
to my head, whenever I read it, it's the Omega Directive. Omega.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
ruined for me.
Nar.
Okay, but
Sorry.
okay. No, that's. I'm sorry. That's actually.
You okay?
Okay.
Jesus.
But
I try to
did-
leave the comedy to Ryan on the stream. That's why I have to tone it down sometimes.
okay, but
Sorry.
did anyone else
let's
totally
play
expect
5,
that twist
4, 3,
for Omega
2,
and the Bad Batch?
1, play. What? Wait, what was the twist again? That she's a clone?
Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute. A child left alone on Camino, no parents. Golly gee. Wonder what the deal is.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to say about French words. So in English class, I always did really good, but in 7th grade, we had this exam on French words in the English language. Denouement, pièce de résistance, hors d'oeuvres.
Coup de
So
grace.
forget about spelling them, rendezvous. But like even the meaning was ridiculous and the spelling was ridiculous. But Star Trek helps. Like rendezvous is used a lot in TNG. That'll be our rendezvous point.
Yeah, we
We
use a
will
bunch of
resume
different
course.
languages.
Yeah, so I got a 70 on that test, and my teacher called home because I was in the SP class, the smart class. So like, if you get 75, was failing for us. So because I
Oh.
failed an English exam, I was in trouble. This is a great game. It's like Jenga.
Is it? Is it though? You just have to put the sticks. You have to arrange the sticks.
For your information, Ryan, you have to have an advanced knowledge of spatial harmonics.
I don't think you do. I think it's just sticks.
So
For
like
your
Jenga.
For your for your information.
It's just 40 Jenga.
I was on the subway once, and this guy was playing a chess game, and he looked like this is kind of messed up for me. He looked like he was new to the game, so I was gonna like move his chess piece on his tablet for him. He blocked my
On his
hand so
tablet.
fast.
I was like, how do you play chess on the subway?
He blocked my hand so fast. He didn't even let me touch his chess piece on
Yeah,
the screen. And
don't touch people's screens, dude.
Dude,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
the fuck?
I know, but like Kim was too decent to do that to the 7. But I learned that from Star Trek. Just interject
To not
yourself
touch
in
people's
something.
stuff?
No, to touch it.
No, dude, no.
No,
Do you know how
don't.
filthy most touchscreens are?
Yeah, we're all on the subway, so it's not a big deal.
It's a big fucking deal.
It's not about whether it's dirty, it's about the violation of personal space. Leave him alone.
Let him play his game, right? But I would say the dude was fast. His reflexes were so fast, he wouldn't even let me go near his screen.
Omega?
So this part makes no sense. If you have
It's a super secret directive. Nobody can know about it.
if you have a Dominion War situation, and like the Jem'Hadar are like coming in at maximum warp to your starbase, and yet some minor civilization has discovered Omega, you have to like warp out of the defense of your starbase and go stop them from developing Omega. Okay.
What if the captain is out sick? What if they're fighting a hostile species that uses Omega? So every time a hostile ship shows up, they just get locked out of their own ship.
Right, and
And they just
literally only
die.
the captain knows about this. So if the captain isn't there, is otherwise incapacitated, then like nobody knows what to do. The ship's functions are just locked out.
What about the
Oh.
USS Valiant that was run by children? What happens if they ran into Omega?
Okay, here's something I never understood about the Omega Directive.
All
Okay,
of it?
there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things.
Okay,
Okay.
one,
Okay.
how the fuck do you keep this hidden? If there are other spacefaring cultures who will research this.
Okay, I can't. But here's the thing: something that I really appreciated about this episode. I know we're gonna knock it like for the next 45 minutes, but Seven says that the harmonic frequency of the Omega particle that they're gonna use to like.
Now you're
make
saying it,
force field-
Omega.
Sorry, you got me into it, Ryan. So, is 1.68, and that's the number of the golden ratio. So, Technobabble is smart. Whoever said Technobabble is not, well, he was talking about the new shows. But here, that's a really good reference, you know, because the golden ratio shows up everywhere in mathematics.
Oh, like the Fibonacci sequence.
Yes, even the distance between the numbers of the Fibonacci sequence is the golden ratio, or it approaches the golden ratio. So, and obviously the golden ratio is an irrational number, so it's not 1.68, but they had to like shorten it for a TV show. Also something really cool. Something really actually amazing about this episode is at the end, Seven talks to Chakotay about spirituality, and the Borg find spirituality in numbers, and like us, we find it in like, you know, animals and vision quests. And she glimpses perfection. Well, you know,
I think that's just Chakotay.
well, we find spirituality in weird stuff, like, you know, Eucharist wafers and crackers, and, you know, wine at the Passover table, and, you know, buildings in Mecca. You know, so we get our fix from not perfect molecules, but holy places.
So she finds spirituality in finding connections in numbers. That just sounds like obsessive compulsive disorder.
So, and here, so only for Starfleet, only the captain knows about it. All other priorities have been rescinded. So the Jem'Hadar warship's coming in at warp 9. You know, drop everything and hightail for the Mintakan planet. But so, for Starfleet, only the captains know, and for the Borg, every single Borg drone is aware of its existence, and knows that it must be assimilated at all costs.
Oh, is there a Twitch watch along? No, no Twitch, just YouTube. Just YouTube. I did. So the first time I tried streaming, I think someone was like falsely flagging me every time I put it up, so I just switched to Twitch for one stream. Like I was trying to stream just editing
Obsidian.
an intake, just because I was bored.
So
And it was like,
have a
no,
question.
copyright. So I streamed like a black screen with no music, and they're like, no, copyright.
So, is this a pre-recorded message for the captain?
Sorry, what was the message?
So, Janeway got a message because the sensors picked up Omega particles, right?
Yeah, it's just stored in a text file somewhere obscure on the ship.
So, you mean to tell me that routine maintenance could discover this entire section of super classified information? Ooh.
That it tells everyone on the ship about, yes.
Also,
Very
so
secretive.
my best friend for my birthday a couple of years ago, he got me tickets to see Richard Dawkins and Brian Greene. So Richard Dawkins, preeminent evolutionary scientists of our time.
Did they box?
No, they just had a discussion, lively discussion. And so Brian Greene said something really interesting. He said that, like, look, there's knowledge that we have access to, and there's knowledge that we'll probably never have access to. So, like, we can go beyond the Higgs boson, or like break the Higgs boson in a what's that, particle accelerator, but we need a particle accelerator the size of the Milky Way galaxy to do this. So it's kind of crazy, because the story of the Omega particle is that this guy invented this thing that destroyed a whole sector of subspace, and it's
Mhm.
so
Yeah,
dangerous.
people do that all the time. It's not a big deal. It's fine.
It would be like trying to hide this. Okay, so what we're describing here is essentially the Federation's own version of praxis. And rather
Yeah.
than inform the public about the potential dangers and say, let's never do this again, they swept it under the rug. That
Yeah.
sounds a bit
And
fascistic to me.
right, and it makes it a military society also, by the way, because
Mhm.
the military is going to deal with it instead of the scientists, by the way.
Well, I mean,
Wasn't it just some trash Starbase 80 scientist too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
So
mean,
anybody
and
could
also
discover it?
it was sometime in the last 100 or last 50 years. So it was a not even advanced Federation scientist.
Is Omega gonna become the next starship? It could be a starship type situation, yes.
So in our there's obviously like the atomic bomb kind of analogy here because
Mhm.
Robert Oppenheimer, he regretted having invented the thing. He said we should have never built the damn thing in the first place, which is very interesting.
I mean, I view it as a fantastic nuclear deterrent, and had it not been invented, I am genuinely fearful of the society that would have been made in its stead.
I agree. And in political science, we studied that like nuclear weapons have actually created an astonishing period of peace because the superpowers are too scared to go to war with each other. So
For the moment.
for the moment, but but at the same time though, like we have stability. I mean, it's not great. Like we almost lost it in 1963 in 10 days, but still, people know to chill out a little bit instead of going to war over every little border dispute.
Also, I'm pretty sure Russia would have just destroyed Japan, like physically and perhaps genetically.
Uncool.
So the Borg are so like this. The Borg have a cult of like religion around the Omega particle. They worship it. They seek it. They like fetishize it.
Yeah, that's actually like really really interesting
Yeah.
because that
And
indicates at some level Borg have a personality.
yeah, and like I said though, ironically, like the amazing part is when Seven has a connection with Chakotay, when one is totally rational and the other is the spiritual guide of the ship. Seven's a great character. Like, and this is still her first season.
Honestly, I kind of wish that they just had her like initially for the first couple seasons be like really fucked up, both physically and kind of and mentally a little bit.
She kind of is because like she still pursues the Borg agenda. Like here also.
No,
Like,
I mean like physically, like she
yeah.
still has like a Borg arm
Uh-huh.
up until like maybe season 6 where they give her like a
I think that poor
fake one.
woman, that poor actor has suffered enough.
He
I
has.
don't. Let's not. Let's not
Yeah,
get her enough. Let's
I
not
mean
get
she's
her
already, I mean I think by now she's already passed out once due to that corset that she has to wear.
Yeah. Like but her first 2 episodes too, that makeup was like horrendous. Like I was
Nightmarish.
uncomfortable watching her wear it. Like the veins on your face.
You must build additional pylons.
So like she has this agenda against species 8742. She must get the Omega particle. I don't know if
And if they
it's like
want to get the Omega particle, apparently they literally need a bigger boat.
and she doesn't even identify as human. Because when they almost go back to Earth, when they get the transmission from Starfleet of how to go slipstream, she's like, I don't want to go back to Earth. I don't know anyone there, and nobody like me lives there because like that's humans, and I'm not human.
Is that the episode where like everyone is kind of blissed out and it's only Naomi Wildman and 7 to 9 who aren't
Yeah. Yeah.
So, they're just casually handling this thing that apparently can blow up a small planet, or maybe a moon.
Correct.
How powerful actually are these Starfleet torpedoes?
Well, they're photon and then quantum torpedoes.
Is every torpedo the equivalent of a Xindi weapon? Do they just carry planet killers?
I think they do, yeah. And how are they not a military again?
Because you can take out the torpedo's guts and you can put in sensor probes. That's how.
Also, I like how Kim's idea of what's happening here is that Janeway's just evil again. She's gonna detonate an entire star for her own gain, yes.
I mean, to be honest, would he be wrong? Statistically speaking, he might
He
actually
knows her
be right.
so well. She'd do it.
Now, there's another really great line in here, and she wants to destroy it, and Tuvok's like, "Well, what kind of scientist are you?" She goes, "Yeah, but I know when to quit." Like, you can't just pursue knowledge at the expense of.
Sure we can. I mean, she's not going far. It's literally 1 light year away. It's fine. You could still see her on sensors. It's not a big deal.
If they can scan upwards to 1 billion kilometers, that is more than 1 AU. They can still scan it.
Yes, they would. It's part of Starfleet
they
training,
would.
remember?
It's the command training operation thingamajig.
How many times have we heard, like, Captain Kirk go, everyone here would give their lives to do... Or Captain Picard, more, is into that. If the cause is just and honorable. Starfleet loves suicide missions.
Yeah, didn't he and Montgomery Scott initiate the self-destruct for when they got kidnapped by aliens from Andromeda?
I mean, that sounds right, but I don't know. Sure, yes.
The first duty of every Starfleet officer
Is
is
to
towards
suicide. Suicide missions.
Yeah, I mean,
What happened to the needs of the many, Chakotay?
long-term mission in the Starfleet is basically a suicide assign.
I mean, yeah, it is. You tell these kids that you're going to be scientists and then pull the rug under them after 4 years of academy training saying, psych, it's the military.
Well, they'll pay for your college, right? Oh, wait,
Yeah,
there's no
in this
money
moneyless
anymore.
Yeah, you're right. Though.
Service grants citizenship.
And this totally establishes Starfleet as like a militarist organization, because now, like in political science class, also because we were discussing nuclear weapons. The Iranian nuclear program was like heating up at the time. I was in college around 2004, 2008.
Weren't like a disproportionately high amount of like civil scientists being like killed by Mossad?
Yeah. So knowledge is dangerous sometimes. So one of the political science articles we had to read said that, look, nuclear technology is as old as microwaves. So like a nuclear
Same way it's
weapon.
pronounced Omega.
So like imagine trying to go to everyone's house and trying to stop them from owning a microwave. Like it's impossible. So the same way, like when we try to tell countries they can't have nuclear weapons, you're kind of like, it's kind of arbitrary to say like, okay, well, you can't develop a technology because they're just going to say, watch me. And so here Starfleet's on the same like fool's errand.
Like, okay, take into account that Starfleet probably has genetic patterns of all of its citizens. Take into account that officers and take into account that they monitor brainwave patterns on ships. Take into account that they're actively censoring information. Take into account that they have Section 31, which appears to be an ordained organization that is backed by the Admiralty.
For sure.
Janeway just said it possesses the same power as a warp core. So are we implying that a warp core detonation can destroy subspace for light years?
I believe that's what they're insinuating.
The thing is, like, look, I remember when
warp cores explode all the time.
Harry Truman dropped the atomic bomb on those two cities, and he announced in his television address to the American people, the bomb we dropped has the same energy as 10,000 kilotons of TNT. So like just because like we put it in terms of TNT explosion doesn't mean that like a nuclear explosion, like it's brighter and hotter than the sun, which a TNT
Mhm.
explosion is not going to be. So no, Ryan, to answer your question, I don't think it just means that warp core will destroy a subspace if it explodes. So
So,
we
oh my God,
we're lying. They cover
What?
up.
Yeah, they're covering up actual information that could.
Yeah. Oh, it's a natural phenomenon that you can't go to warp in this sector, which we never heard of before, by the way.
Oh, which, by the way, you may or may not get lymphoma from weird radiation that you may or may not come in contact with.
So
But also, sorry, go ahead.
If you or someone you
Let-
know has come into contact with Omega,
let me get this straight. The omega thing is a natural effect or is synthesized?
Synthesized.
maybe.
It's synthesized, but maybe it
Well,
occurs in nature. But yeah.
Oh, okay, so I think there's a line.
Star Trek turns into an Hideo Kojima.
Sorry, I only heard every other
Your
word
mic
of that.
broke up there.
Likewise, I do think that there's a line in the episode later where they think that Omega started the Big Bang, which may or may not be an outdated model of the universe anymore.
You
I
made
still
even less
maintain
sense.
Omega should have been the cause of the burn.
So, I'm. This is kind of weird of me, right? But I think my favorite moment in Star Trek 2 is when McCoy's trying to book passes to Genesis, and the guy's like, Genesis? And like everybody in the bar shuts up because like that's the one word you're not supposed to say. And like 5 minutes later, the chief of Starfleet Security is like, "Hey, you're trying to book a passage to that forbidden sector." But it's the same thing that they pulled off. Like Starfleet has restricted certain sectors because certain military technology backfired. The Bikini Atoll, basically. This is like the third time in a row that Seven just does whatever she wants. And like,
What if we do 2 torpedoes? Yeah, Janeway. This is why Seven keeps going off on her own, because Janeway's into it.
yeah.
Never punished.
I think, I mean, if you think about it, it's like someone finding a small child that was kidnapped by a gang
Mm-hmm.
and then trying to remake them into a functional human being.
Very difficult.
He was
Difficult.
raised by wolves.
If wolves could talk and use USB cords.
Very smart wolves.
I smoke a lot of weed, and so I was working in a deli. Like a lot of my coworkers Mexican, a lot of the clientele customers were Mexican. So late at night, I'd be having a lot of fun conversations, but they'd know me as like the resident pothead, and they'd make a lot of fun of me. Like, hey, sometimes people are like, hey, can I get some? So I would, my Spanish is pretty good. So I would tell them that my weed is so good that
Johnson, you're echoing.
I will show you the cara de Dios, the face of God. And it always solicits a laugh because, that's a funny thing to say in our modern
If you
day
were
and age.
hallucinating, I don't think that was weed.
I don't think. I honestly don't think marijuana causes hallucinations based on what I've read in psychopharmacology.
It doesn't, not really. So,
What were you giving
your
your
nick-
coworkers?
and clients, right? But
Yeah. So, did you show them Cybok?
So, but the thing is though, like Seven, several times, every time she looks at the screen when there's the Omega particle on display, she's gazing at the face of God, like literally Cybok, like straight up, full Cybok. I'm glad you said Cybok because there's other cult people like Manson and all that, but yeah, Cybok is like the epitome of looking at the face of God.
Our planet's supposed to... Well, moon, actually. Our moon's supposed to glow like that? That doesn't look great.
Could be just the magnetosphere.
The face of God. That's what happens when you look at the face of God.
They did warp here, right, though?
Yeah.
So it should be fine.
I think they replicated or synthesized a fragment of a fragment of a fragment of an atom, which should be technologically impossible for this species given the fact that they're pre-warp.
Yeah, they're pre-warp. But Seven has also been mentioning species 292 and all that. Like they had a substance which could burn the sky. So like mythologically, and that species 292. So we know the Borg are about 1,000 years old, like about 900. Because that's established in like an episode where it's like 900 years in the future. So like about 800 years ago, they were hunting down species that had this ability.
Now
Oh.
we are in Babylon 5.
So if
No.
it destroyed everything in 3,000 kilometers, why is there still things?
It's like Chernobyl or Fukushima. It's basically the fallout. Oh, they're not wearing hazmat suits. That's
Nope.
good. Okay.
It's fine. They took injections for the radiation poisoning.
You know, I love how this alien is looking at an alien and not
Yeah.
freaking the fuck out.
This pre-warp culture is like, yeah, you know what? Whatever. I don't even care.
Listen, my insides are jello. I don't care anymore.
By the way, I just learned Marie Curie. Like this is the Science Channel has like a Halloween special on YouTube Shorts. So Marie Curie, she died because her bone marrow couldn't make blood cells anymore, and it's called what is it called when you can't anemia? So she died of
anemia.
Yeah, she died of anemia, and they had to bury her in a lead. I mean, I knew they buried her in a lead casket, but I didn't realize it's because her bone marrow was non-operational. But she's a martyr for knowledge. I mean, you know, I think she's the greatest person ever, and she's the first person to win 2 Nobel Prizes, and she was a woman. So take that.
Okay, you can
Who
go
are you
read her
directing
journals
that
now.
toward?
Sorry, was that from you, Ryan?
Yeah, take that. Who? Who should be taking that?
Oh, male-dominated science field. Take that. A woman got 2 Nobel Prizes.
So,
I mean,
how long do you think it would take for her books to become safe to touch?
yeah, her journals too. Let's just leave that alone.
It's fine. Just take an inoculation against the radiation. You can handle it all you want.
Rub some aloe vera.
Jesus.
Wait,
It's
where
probably
is she?
that would work. Where's who? Janeway?
No. Ensign Wildman.
Oh. She's on maternity leave. Seven, you can't do that.
You know, I actually think Kim's into it. Like
He would.
he
He
knows
would.
that she
Not
could
in
do
this
whatever
context.
she could do whatever she wants to him. So
But do you remember the episode where they all had nightmares?
yeah, for sure.
Kim's nightmare was Seven.
Seven telling him to take off his clothes again. But so Borg hierarchy, he goes from 6 to 10 to 2 to 10, and he calls that a demotion. So I thought, anyway,
I should
doesn't
assign my coworkers numbers. That'd be awesome.
If I had crazier billionaire money, I'd do that too.
and if they protest, just demote them from 6 of 10 to 2 to 10, 2 of 10. Yeah. Oh, I think
4 of 8. Where is that invoice? Why is it not on my desk?
I think that's Wildman's mom in the background. So
Yeah.
she's busy on the because he mentions that
Because she's not on maternity leave.
she's excellent at the 2 of 10 task, as opposed to Harry.
So why are they keeping them alive?
Because they have to like understand
They have to interrogate them first.
like what they were doing, how they did it.
Then they can kill them. Prime Directive doesn't matter when it's Omega.
Oh, so I watch this watch channel, a number of them. There's this British guy. So there's a watch company, the Omega Moonwatch, and actually Neil Armstrong wore his moonwatch on the moon. So like that company's entire marketing campaign is like, yeah, our watch made it to space and back, on Neil Armstrong's wrist, no less. And like for the anniversary, 60 years, they released a special thing, and this watch costs like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. So
Oh.
I'm saving up. But in Britain, it's definitely pronounced Omega. I'm done.
So if the Omega Directive overrides every other directive, does that mean also the Hippocratic Oath?
Omega.
Yes.
So 7 or 9 is actually following the letter of the law right now.
1.68 terahertz.
Now I'm thinking about what you said about the clock, the watch. Do you need some kind of special clockwork to function in space?
Apparently not. But so NASA had given the astronauts watches, but he was a military pilot, and so he had his own watch. And the other thing is, though, you're not supposed to do that because every gram is weighed, especially back in those days when you went to the moon. So, like, for you to bring anything unauthorized could mess up the entire, could mess it up. So for him to swap out the watch was totally unauthorized. But yeah, I made it back.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's just an analog mechanism of gears, as you know. So
Wait, they're pre-warp, but they have rescue ships.
Don't worry about
well,
that.
it's to the moon. It's to the moon, though, right? So like, it's basically how we get to the moon and back with the watch.
Ooh, now we're getting into the bit where Janeway commits genocide. That's a fun part of the episode.
So the analog
Gonna
watch
doom
survived,
civilization.
but back in those days, they didn't have digital computers. I know it's hard to segment, we don't have to say that we're watching multimedia, right? Like, we understand that we're consuming multimedia, but back then, like, multimedia and digital computers were like not a given. You only had one media. It was either radio, silent movie, one of two. You don't get both. So the analog computer that they had worked, but nowadays, if you tried to put a digital computer into the Apollo space module, it would fry when you left when you went to the Van Allen belt. So you have to use a lot more insulation than they did for the moon mission in the 60s.
Is that due to the radiation?
Yes, the Van Allen belt radiation. But we
It's
had analog
Omega.
computers. The cara de Dios.
So, does anyone remember that one quest from Fallout 4 when you have to get the beryllium agitator?
I haven't played that.
I did play that, but it was a long time ago, so I did not.
You essentially have to steal a rod from an active power.
A warp core.
plant.
Wow.
I know. I almost said no from an
borium?
active. Yeah,
Borium and cadmium rod. Yeah.
yeah. You have to steal a rod from a power plant, and I
that
think
controls the nuclear reaction. Not a good idea. Okay.
Yeah. So it is currently blue with Cherenkov radiation, and you're supposed to grab it with your bare fucking hands.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Just take some rat away. You'll be fine.
Yes, I know that works, but like, shouldn't your hands be burnt away from the sheer amount of radiation?
No. That's what the rat away's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Also,
you can get new hands. It's not a big deal.
Keep taking out those rods. Everybody around you will be dead. Because those rods are the only thing between a nuclear bomb and a nuclear plant. You'll put a hole right through the mantle of the earth. So Chakotay's badass here. He's like, you're not allowed to do that. And she's like, you believe in God, don't you?
Does
then
he?
he's like-
What are his religious beliefs?
Well, not God, but it's just like
He believes in ghosts, right? Ghosts and spirit guides.
Yes.
Native American religion has a great spirit called the Watantanka. The
Well,
great
hang
spirit.
on. Before we pursue that line of conversation, I feel compelled to point out Chakotay is not a real Native American religion.
No, he's not.
So, but she does mention here, though. Imagine you could meet the Great Spirit, and he's like, "Wouldn't you take the chance?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't put God in a bubble. It just seems disrespectful.
I would contain him or it.
I've never made a personal request. I don't think you get to make personal requests on your job or you're in your military.
I
No,
think I think you can, possibly for like actual medical needs. Like, can I have an ergonomic chair?
that's a medical request. That's not a personal request. Personal request is like, can I have My Little Pony stickers all over my keyboard?
Particle 010, does that imply that Omega was the 10th particle the Borg ever discovered?
Possibly.
Or 11th, if they're zero indexed?
The molecule exists in a flow state. Infinite parts functioning as one. It's like an infinitely complex molecule.
Is this not a family-friendly channel? Not really, no.
It is.
Okay. Okay, Seven is kind of having a weird religious moment right here.
Robo's not here. It's pretty family friendly.
I applaud Jerry for actually kind of pulling off this crazed religious zeal.
She does an awesome job.
There's the Great Spirit. If you had a chance to see the Great Spirit, you would keep it in a containment field and ask it questions.
And use its power to harness for your ship.
Yes.
So the Borg
With
are
the
a
power
religious
of the
cult?
Great Spirit, we can shave 4% off our drive home.
Evans just starts saying the Equinox did nothing wrong. The Equinox did nothing wrong.
I swear we've seen this map painting before. That sort of like spoke design looks very
It looks like-
familiar.
It looks like Farpoint Station almost, even.
It reminds me of the Romulan outpost that was doing the drone ship.
Or it's even that starbase where Wesley went back to take the exam, and he has the blue people friend who breathes like the nitrogen atmosphere.
And then you discover that humans are racist because they can't tell the difference between aliens.
It was 1986, okay?
I think we knew humans were racist a long time before then.
Okay, you learn that humans didn't outgrow it, despite being evolved beings.
I've said this before. Every Star Trek show has a species that everybody is racist toward. TOS had the Klingons. TNG had... Who did TNG have? They definitely had somebody. But I'm
I
blanking
thought
right
Romulans
now.
were shady for sure.
Romulan.
Romulans were the
The
shadiest.
Ferengi,
Romulans.
kind of. Romulans.
Yeah.
Mostly Romulans. DS9 had
DS9.
Cardassians and Ferengi.
I mean, to be honest, you only came across three genuinely good Cardassians. And four good
Who are-
Cardassians in the entirety of the
Who's
show.
one of them?
The two would be the two engineers from Destiny.
Okay.
Okay, good.
I guess
I'm
they
glad
fell.
we know Garrick is not good, right?
No, Garrick is not.
And then Gamor, Ileana's father.
Okay.
In the books, Ileana herself she's fucked in the head.
We have the maid who worked for Nan Tibrine, and
Voyager, you're allowed to be racist toward the Kazon, but I think that's justified. Because they're the
Yeah,
worst.
no, it's not even racism at that point. It's just common knowledge.
Voyager's racist against the Borg.
Is it really racism if you're against... The Borg aren't really a race, are they?
Well, they...
Are
They're
they
a very...
objectively evil?
They
Like,
have
would
a
it be
lot of
racist to
races
be-
within them.
I mean, would it be racist against people? Sorry, not people. Would it be racist against cancer? Yes or no?
Would it be racist against Nazism? How about that?
No. Nazis can exist in their own bubble, kind of like in South America. The Borg need other life forms to steal from.
You know what else can exist in a bubble? The Great Spirit if we contain it and harness its power.
Yes.
So
No,
Seven
Seven, nobody
ignores-
cares anymore. We're not even listening to you.
It's not your cult, Seven. Sorry.
Sorry, we were talking about Janeway, not you.
Okay, that's what you're supposed to do,
Are
Seven.
you with the cult, Seven? It's not a cult. We're harnessing the power. This is it.
She's like fiending for this chemical.
Why not? It's not our quadrant. We love risking the safety of the quadrant. Oh yeah,
This is
people
weird.
were really racist toward the Borg and Iborg with Hugh. That's right.
Yeah.
Based on that episode, yeah, I think it's fair to say racism against the Borg is a thing. There's also
and-
in Picard people who just
Hunt
don't
down.
trust XBs, just as a rule.
And hunt them down.
For their parts.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, that's just like hunting down someone with a prosthetic organ or limb.
I mean,
That's literally
you'll
what it
see.
is.
You'll see in the episode where they think they have the slipstream technology from Starfleet. Like the person lost a lot of people lost people to Borg in this quadrant. So as soon as they look at Seven, they're like, "What is that? Like, what? Why is that here?"
Wait, how are they attempting to stop you? Aren't they pre-warp? Can't you just go to warp for like 2 seconds and just do what you need?
How can you be boarded?
Like, they need to be by the moon to like stabilize the thing. I don't know. And this is a really good line because Starfleet says, "Look, we have your people. We haven't killed your people, and we'll give them back to you."
I'll
So-
destroy it first. We're trying to destroy it, you idiot.
I mean, honestly, at this situation, I would have just said, how about an officer exchange? You can have my second in command, and I can have yours. Or, like, give them a hostage.
Those ships also look familiar, but they're not triangles, so it doesn't matter.
Why do you need evasive maneuvers? They're probably at, like, warp 9.2 or... I mean, 0.9.2.
So
Yeah, just
sorry.
leave.
The messed up part of this episode is the Omega particle stabilizes, and that was the whole thing. It was unstable, and it stabilizes, and they have to eject it anyway. And Seven has to just like look at the face of her god as it like slips away. Like she solves the problem of unstable Omega molecules.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Which did it
Share-
better? The Omega
share-
Directive or Lord of the Rings Rings of Power?
Share with
Sorry,
me
can
your pain.
Can you repeat that one more time?
This is very reminiscent of the Rings of Power finale in ways I'm not going to expand upon, but it reminds me of it. The way the
Hellbrand?
Omega
Or
molecules
whatever
are
his-
self-stabilizing.
Oh, like Hell... Wait, are we talking about Hellbrand's alloy?
Well, I wasn't going to go into detail.
So let me get this straight. Celebrimbor, chief of Elven Smiths,
Yeah?
doesn't know what the fucking alloy is.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
The issue was how to cause the metals to fuse. Like they were trying to force it together, and
No. Like Celebrimbor said, yes, we don't combine and sully metals with one another.
Yeah,
Right.
because all those elder races are always really stuck in their ways. They don't learn stuff. Oh,
that's
sad Seven.
That is a
I
really...
mean,
That's a good shot.
it really is. But I think like having a religious experience, it can do a lot of good, and this kind of like helps stabilize her.
The Omega Directive.
Oh my god, this is the amazing part. Okay, because people always
It's
say, "Oh, Star
Jesus.
Trek is atheistic. Star Trek doesn't talk about religion," and like she's over here admiring a crucifix. Like the last thing I would have expected was to see Catholic imagery in this episode. But here you
He protested. I deactivated him.
go. Yeah.
You wouldn't do that
Why?
to Gimli, son of Gloin. Who does that?
Why there is 2 crossbows in the
He's Da
wall?
Vinci.
Yeah, he's Da Vinci. He made weapons of war.
Like he's always experimenting with
Oh, okay.
tendons and
Dude designed a tank.
Yeah. And he intentionally messed up the gearbox so that way no one else could replicate it.
Also, you should watch Rings of Power. It's really good.
Don't. He's a
No,
liar.
It's not totally faithful to the Silmarillion, but
The Mouse of Sauron
I don't think anyone
speaks.
wants something that's 100% faithful to the Silmarillion. That thing's crazy.
No,
I would. I would
I
love an
watched
orchestra
it would take
where Morgoth
forever.
is. I would love a 10-minute like orchestra, and Morgoth is just fucking it up the entire time.
It would take like 30 seasons.
yeah, that's the thing, that they're not adapting the Silmarillion. They don't have the rights to the Silmarillion.
They're approximating the Silmarillion.
no,
The
they
Lord
bought
of the Rings
rights to the
appendices.
Silmarillion for $300 million from the Tolkien.
No, they have the rights to
Lord of the Rings and the appendices.
and the appendices.
Oh, but see, they do have Silmarillion characters in this, so they're not following that strictly.
Because they're mentioned in the appendices.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So, last episode, what is it? Oh yeah, it's Unforgettable. That wasn't a joke, by the way. I actually forgot.
Oh no! Did one of the aliens meet up with you?
Maybe. Yeah, the episode, it's okay. It's fine. I still think it's weird that Chakotay gets a romance with someone who looks just like Kess, but it's fine.
It was a filler episode.
It's a Chakotay episode, which means it's a filler episode.
We had too much action in the last episode, so we gotta slow down the story. Make them.
We got action, we got religion, we
Mm-hmm.
have 7 of 9 boobs. We have everything.
Now it's time to
Perfect.
now it's time to roll in the hay with Chakotay.
Ugh.
I wish there were more dramatis personae episodes. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Where everyone just goes crazy.
Well, either everyone is crazy or everyone is possessed,
Also,
because I
press play
absolutely
in
love it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. You love it because?
There are two reasons. One, you can save a crap ton of money by doing that. And two, it gives the actors to do something else.
Yeah, they have a lot of fun. Deep Space Nine had so much fun in the alternate universe episodes.
Oh yeah.
Where, like Avery Brooks calls him Smiley, even though he's not smiling ever.
When the actors have fun shooting the show, that reads into the show.
It
Yeah.
definitely bleeds into the film.
It's like when
Working
Strange,
closer with 7.
Strange New Worlds did the whole fantasy princess universe thing.
Yes, I was thinking about that. Yes.
Princess Runa.
And,
Did you know that it was actually her dog?
and the guy who plays Captain Pike is having the most fun because he gets to like be ridiculous.
You know, I don't want to spoil Strange New Worlds, but I kind of hope that they kind of elaborate what Una's deal is.
I was
That's
just
what I don't
surprised
get.
to see that the whole plot twist around Una was actually from a book. It's actually old canon, beta
Yep.
canon.
No. Like, I kind of want to get into Una's backstory. Like, how does that look like growing up?
Looks freaking weird is how it looks.
I know, and I would love to have, like,
Is that a Klingon
child...
ship?
Very close to it.
Maybe it's turned backwards?
And it's gone. Okay.
Are you sure it's not Klingon?
It looks like if you merged the Klingon like Vorcha ship with the Ferengi Marauder.
So, did anyone see the new episode of Lower Decks with the Breen?
No.
Yes.
I have to catch up with Lower Decks. I've only seen the first season. I think.
I'll take off my headphones until the intro is done. So
Now
I can feel it.
don't go into no detail about the most recent episodes. They're spoiler protected.
All right, I will shut up. But I was called paranoid for coming up with like 20 different conspiracy theories about the episode.
Okay.
Ryan, did you see Chernobyl on the HBO miniseries?
Yes, that is
Yes.
not spoiler protected because if you don't know what happened at Chernobyl, read a book.
You should know. Yeah.
Tony
It's
Radigan,
not exactly
not bad,
subtle.
not good.
But I saw something very interesting. That show is becoming very popular in China because when your government covers up something that has like global implications and it could lead to like global catastrophe, and when they just keep telling you there's no problem, there's no problem, there's no problem, it only makes it worse for the people who actually live in that area. And also like when you control the flow of information and you wind up blaming like the scientists or the nuclear power plant workers at the bottom or the doctors trying to report about a new condition that's spreading everywhere. So it's actually really cool because like that shows. I mean, I'm bringing up because the Omega thing, like also like like Janeway's fear of that technology is very palpable, and I think like I can't blame her. Like we were making fun of her the whole time, but I think she was 100% within the right. Like you can't allow the entire quadrant to be like not spacefaring. That's totally against. It's like if you froze the ocean. How come every time somebody has a baby, they call Chakotay? Like
Oh no. How desperate are these people that they're going to Chakotay for help?
yeah.
Oh man.
Also, how many seasons of Lower Decks? The season 3 finale is this Thursday.
Yep.
Like this is straight out of Seska. Like, hey Chakotay, beam me aboard. Like, who are you again?
Help me, Chakotay, you're my only hope.
And it's like, I don't even remember you. By the way, this is the worst love story ever because he doesn't know who she is, and she's like, no, we'll fall in love again. And then she forgets who he is, and he's like, no, we'll fall in love again.
Well,
So
to go
it's
back
like-
to 2008 for a minute, is it a better love story than Twilight?
Yes. Because at least one of them isn't being groomed.
Hey, directed by
Okay.
Andrew Robinson. That's
What?
Garrick from
Garrick, what have you done?
Eric, no! Go back to writing A Stitch in Time.
Oh, I need to finish that. I got it on my Kindle. I need to actually read it.
It's a great book.
I'll do that next weekend.
You have a
Probably.
e-reader Kindle, or you have a Kindle Fire?
I have a Kindle Paperwhite something.
Okay, cool. So that's the e-ink. Okay, you're a cultured man. That's good.
So, a review.
Yes, sir.
Do you think Kel is Garrick's?
Kel is this girl who shows up out of nowhere?
Kel is the girl in Stitch in Time who is Garrick's friend. Sorry, Garrick's friend's kid.
You know, I
Look,
read it
it's
as
not
like,
Tess.
I read it as a kid, and I remember most of the like when he's in the boarding school at the Intelligence Academy. That's what I remember. I don't remember much about a character named Kel.
The
basically,
species even
like-
has Ocampan style ears.
I know it's weird, but
Jesus.
no.
Hey, this is a Star Wars ship.
No, that was the same bridge as last episode. As the which one
No,
was it? 2
Garrick
episodes
got
ago. What's it
exiled
called?
because he had an affair and stabbed a guy to death.
Omega
Oh,
Directive
weird.
vis-a-vis.
So that was the same bridge as the vis-a-vis alien ship.
Mhm.
They just
Mhm.
threw some debris around. I could tell because the window that I admired before, it was the same window.
Well, I mean,
The
here's the
bridge
thing.
window.
It's a trap.
No, not that. The Compans actually might have been warp capable for a period of time before the caretaker.
Or they got wrecked.
You know, you remind me of like kiwis and other flightless birds. Like they had the ability to fly, they just lost it.
New Zealanders could fly?
No.
Yeah.
The
Wow.
bird called the kiwi and dodos. And so like another funny thing is that there's these islands in the Indian Ocean and they found these fossils of these birds that are flightless, and then they went extinct, and then millions of years later, other birds migrated from the same place before, and again the birds lost their ability to fly. So evolution can happen in parallel to itself.
Mm-hmm. Just say, hey, listen, my species has this ability where we're just really forgettable. Like, we don't even pick up on most scans. Just say it right there, right then.
This doesn't make any sense, because if someone shows up and says, hey, you used to love me, and you say, who the F are you? Then that's the end of that episode, right?
Okay, I know this sounds really, like, messed up, but, wouldn't just a scan looking for dead hair and skin cells, like, verify the story immediately or not?
But maybe the skin cells lose their DNA and denature.
Like, for me, you gotta have at least love letters I wrote to you that I know that I'm the only one who I could write it, all in my handwriting.
I mean, I went on a date once, maybe a year ago, and I still have ticket stubs.
Yeah, so I need the receipts. But actually, funny thing, I just read a news article about this like 89-year-old guy. He forgot everything, as you're prone to do at that age. But he re-proposed to his wife because he fell in love with her all over again. So it's kind of sweet.
So that reminds me of this really old married couple where they went to a hotel back in like the 1918s,
Mm-hmm.
and the hotel was still around. And the hotel had this weird promotion that they were saying, hey, if you're here beforehand, you can have the same stay and room for the same price that you initially booked it out for.
Oh, wow.
So they spent a week for $17.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I find the idea of an old married couple to be very adorable and cute.
So in TNG, this would have been Riker.
Oh, yeah.
So...
And they
Vis-a-vis
were
also
already
would have
in
been Riker, and it would have been Troy in his quarters. And it would have been deeply concerning.
Why did they bring back Jonathan Frakes for this episode?
Do you remember the episode Conundrum where Ro and Troy decide to share Riker?
I have issues with Riker in that episode. In the period where he's forgotten everything, there's a bit where he strongly suspects that him and Troy are in a relationship because they have like love letters. He's like, "Oh my love, Troy," written on a book. He thinks they're in a relationship, and then he just goes and sleeps with Ro anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, come on,
Well,
man.
You didn't know Riker was a dog?
Riker is a free spirit, man.
Riker got his tail clipped.
Well, something I like though about Riker's romances, the Minuet narrative, because like he's in love with Minuet in a holodeck program. It's just a woman he sees, but when he's in the alien simulation, it's like, yeah, that's your wife. He goes, wait a minute, Minuet.
I bet Riker has a body pillow with a picture of Minuet.
He probably does. It's like
What about
Ransom and his
knocking body
churro
pillows?
wife.
Everyone should have a body pillow. Just, maybe don't put an anime girl on the cover. Because that's weird.
No, she needs to be holding a long stem cigarette holder. That character is so great, though. I don't think TV today can have such a great female.
I have a question. Was Minuet like fully aware that they were just an algorithm?
I think she was, yeah.
Because that's just fascinating. Like someone who just realized, I'm in existence, I only have a single purpose, I'm going to get deleted in a few hours. Might as well have fun.
Yeah.
And also, the reason you have a body pillow of Minuet when you're on the holodeck is you can't be on the holodeck all the time. He can't sleep in the holodeck.
I mean, unless you're Nog.
Unless you're
Well,
Nog.
you can get dehydrated in the holodeck.
By the way, Picard also takes a liking to Minuet, so they both like kind of share her in that episode. Like he shows up to the holodeck just for her.
Okay, here's something I never understood about Picard.
Now I have the mental image of Picard,
No,
like,
get out of my head.
double-teaming.
But why does Picard never settle with a girl who like isn't like a threat to his life and safety?
I don't know. The
and
one
you
time he
tell him-
found a really cool girlfriend, he was like, "No, you need to leave. Get out of here. I can't be happy."
No, Vosh too though. She left with Q. He
Mhm.
would have settled down with Vosh.
Vosh, I think, counts as a threat.
Yeah, true. I mean, she's just as mischievous as
God,
Q is.
that video where I deepfaked Patrick Stewart onto Science Lady, Astrometrics Lady,
Lieutenant Dorian.
maybe.
Dorian. Yeah.
I think that's my favorite video. It makes me. I love seeing Patrick Stewart romance himself with long hair. Glad you like it too.
Oh yeah, I could totally see it. Like when her head was in profile, I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's Cass.
I've seen this lady also in a lot of things.
Oh, like what?
It seems awfully familiar, but I don't place her.
This is the. I don't know. I'm sorry. Like, I love Star Trek. I love each and every episode, really. But like, I think the suspension of disbelief for this episode is going to be a little too much for me. I'll take the Omega particle. Like, there's a perfect molecule with a harmonic resonance of 1.68. That's fine with me. But she's like, "Oh yeah, I met you guys before, and none of you remember me." Kind of weird.
You know, if I was from a species that had that, I would say, okay, what's a weird code phrase that you use, like in the event of like meeting your time doppelganger? Please tell it to
Just
me
let
so
that
I
handsome
can.
devil walk on by.
All right, sorry,
Don't interrupt.
this line made no sense. The Voyager writers are like getting lazy here. In a prior episode, Seven says that B'Elanna's face flushed when she mentioned Tom Paris or something like that. And here she's asking Tuvok, well, oh, her face flushed when she mentioned Chakotay. What does that mean? It's like Seven knows how to read Harry like a book.
Well, that's Harry, though.
Wait, does Chakotay have food sensory issues?
Because his food is separated?
No, like they said like he can't eat pudding because it's too slimy, and I'm like,
Yeah, like I can't eat chunks in my pasta sauce. I don't want like smooth puree and chunky fleshy tomatoes in my mouth at the same time. I'm sorry. This is hard for me to like sit through this date.
Yeah, this lady is in Candyman.
oh,
Fraser, a couple of episodes of Fraser, but yeah, she is the protagonist of Candyman.
Is she a pirate?
no, she's a cop.
Oh, she's a space cop. Honestly, I
It's
haven't
just
really
that
been paying
in any-
attention to the episode. I don't know what's happening.
She, like, here we go. Riker would have fallen for it. Riker would have not suspected anything. Chakotay has his guard up.
Well, I mean,
I think Riker would have shot her and still romanced.
No.
Just shoot her, Chakotay. Come on.
Yeah, it's on stun.
But her gun is bigger. And also looks like they just glued some bits to a drill. But that's fine.
Well, as we know in Star Trek, bigger isn't always better.
Even
So this is
Q's
that-
tattoo, his was bigger.
This is that old trope where, yeah, I loved you, but I was also a double agent for my intelligence agency, but I still love you. I'm sorry, Starfleet officers should just give up on romance. They should just sign a contract which says, I will never have any romance in my life.
No. If we never had romance episodes, we wouldn't have gotten the condal. I need them.
They have the worst romances. Like,
Yeah. I think the only
Terrible
time I've
romance
ever seen.
episodes are amazing.
no, they're the worst. The show can't handle that. Sorry.
Was there ever a good romance episode?
No, like I'm even remembering the Kamala episode where Picard has to like not be in love with the woman that every other man on the ship wants, like is willing to kill for. Like, what kind of attitude? What does that teach you about male and female interactions? Like, that's not how it works.
Maybe La Forge with Leah Brahms.
Oh God, no.
I mean, fake Leah Brahms.
There are so many problems with Jordy. He's just they need to revoke his holodeck privileges.
So
Like,
she
everyone-
asks for his pudding. Like,
Not the tracers.
Tracers.
Oh no.
so she asks for the pudding, and now he's all in love and protective of her.
Maybe that's the phrase.
Maybe that was the safe word.
No, I think Captain Picard's romance with Piano Lady, Astrometrics Lady, that was actually pretty good.
You know, the ability to do a duet with your lover is kind of cool.
I was about to say counterpoint, but I'm like, wait, no, I remember the end of that episode.
Yeah, the ending was perfect. Just maybe not romantic. No, don't give her access to your system. She's a spy. Shoot her. Can we just go to warp? Can we leave?
I feel like they fell for this con last time.
Oh, what about the romance where Captain Kirk was marooned on a planet full of space Native Americans and integrated into their space tribe? What about that one?
Oh,
He romanced one of the people there, and they might have had a child? I don't remember.
She was his child, yeah, before she died.
Yeah.
Is that the one when he reads them the Constitution? Or
No, that's the
No,
Omega Glory.
that's a different terrible
Oh.
episode.
Oh, okay.
Lieutenant Commander Darren, Darren. That's who his girlfriend is.
Piano Lady.
Hey,
He was pretty cool. I like her.
anyone who plays a keyboard that rolls up is boyfriend girlfriend material.
Dude, my niece got a roll-up keyboard. They're not... you can just get them off Amazon. It's not a big deal.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Another good romance was Julian and O'Brien. That was pretty good.
I was about to say, I think the only like decent like relationship we've ever seen in the entirety of Star Trek is probably O'Brien and Keiko.
No, because there's one
O'Brien and
episode where like Keiko.
At least the most realistic one.
Yeah, but the one where like abusive Keiko is like threatening O'Brien with like abuse and
Well, that's because she
That
got
wasn't
possessed by a pod
Keiko.
race.
that wasn't Keiko, but maybe that's just what he deals with on a daily basis, and they just showed
But
it
did
for that
Keiko enjoy it secretly while watching from behind her own eyes? Yes, good.
Hey, you want me to depressurize all your friends, or you want to do what I say, hubby?
Not gonna lie, I would have had a blast if I had to act for that episode.
The actress was clearly
Oh.
having a great time. She loved it.
Honestly, like, if I ever went like absolutely crazy in a space station, I would just whisper into someone's ear right when they're right next to a window. Do you know what Delta P is? And just open a quarter-sized hole right next to their head.
And then say, now it's Delta V.
No, Delta P is that video of a crab walking by a pipe and it just gets sucked in.
Yeah, but if the thing collapses and they're pulled out, they'll have a velocity and therefore a delta v with respect to the station.
Well, I was
let's
thinking,
Messed up.
I was thinking of delta
Papa to
T.
Victor. Yeah, because delta v is the like for orbital mechanics because they're being launched out. Anyway,
Could we
never mind.
give Neelix
that
a
actually
Delta
makes
V real
sense.
quick?
You know, I think Neelix is a great character.
On paper?
If he's such a great character, why does he have an open flame on a starship?
Like I think in a future episode, like next week or so, he has to sleep in sickbay, and the doctor hates having guests because they have to like reduce environmental controls on on certain decks, and so the doctor starts singing. And in order to like get back at the doctor, Neelix threatens to sing like Klingon opera to all the patients, people sleeping, and the doctor's like, all right, you win. You know, so I think that tactically annoyingness, it's totally tactical. He's not annoying.
Oh no, is Chakotay coming to him for relationship advice?
He's like Guinan, basically.
Yeah, because nobody asked what's his face.
Paris.
No, the actual counselor of TNG,
Troy.
Troy.
Yeah.
Nobody asked Troy about anything.
There was that woman who got out of a relationship and then she fell right for Data. So
Which, here's the thing, based on the state of her room and emotional state, she probably should have just gone to Troy.
No, it's well, yeah, she could have. All the important characters go to Guinan. All the rando off-screen
yeah.
ensigns, they go to Troy.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing, I don't want my therapist to be able to read my mind.
Well,
She's
they're
just
not. She can technically read minds.
she's only half
She's
Betazoid, so she's empathic. She's not telepathic.
empathic. Yeah.
I mean, if
Going back
you
to
know the
Counterpoint,
general,
maybe we should round up all the telepaths.
Which in the show translates into he is difficult to read, Captain.
yeah,
I sense
Or-
aggression.
he's lying about
I,
something.
I sense aggression.
Or they are what they say, they are who they say they are, just not what they say they are. Okay?
What does that mean, Troy?
Lieutenant Scott, escort Mrs. Troy to the nearest airlock.
So, theoretically speaking, she's half Betazoid. What would it look like if she married another Betazoid, like a full Betazoid, right? And then their kids are, what, 3/4? What would that look like psionically speaking?
Maybe it's a 50-50 deal. You get all of it or none at that point.
Maybe
Yeah, that's
she
true,
could.
though.
Maybe they could read like surface thoughts, but like real Troy. What's her name? Mama Troy.
Oh, they could have gone with so many places with
Loxana.
that.
Loxana, yeah. Or Loxana can like dig deep into people's brains and pull information.
Yeah, like that'd be an interesting thing to have explored, like different types of telepathy. Like you can only sense moods, or you can only sense, like only dive deep, like Professor X style, or some other sense of someone's mind, but never see the whole picture. That could make things really interesting because you could still be deceptive.
Like, can you imagine?
There is
Sorry.
a couple of episodes of Babylon 5. Sorry for bringing
No,
Babylon 5 again.
you're all right.
About that, because they have different levels of psychics.
I have not seen Babylon 5. I've heard nothing but good about it, and yet this is yet another bit of good.
Oh, it's
I
watch it.
highly
is-
recommend that show.
so like they thought they were being canceled by season 3, so like they speed up a lot of plot points. But season 4 is actually really good.
She's
Yeah,
eating
oh,
ice
yeah,
cream here, so
I've watched the synopsis of it before. I kind of
believe
watched
that
it all through, and
they received word of they gonna get canceled, but and then they have to rush a lot of plot points, but then they they didn't get canceled, and they have like another season of things that they didn't even plan.
right.
Like, can you imagine being a telepath and all you can read is like the deep unconscious mind? like all you read is the id in the ego, superego, id triad.
So
And,
you basically only read that this person wants to bond me, this person don't want to bond me.
Okay.
Or like,
But
But
like I think a group of like Three Stooges type characters, they each can sense like id, one of those three things, and they all are arguing with one another all the time based on what they're reading.
if you could only read my id, you're gonna get a very wrong impression of me.
oh my
Um,
God.
This
And
person
someone
is
else
thinking
gets a
about
different sense
pizza,
of the
I don't
ego.
know
They're like,
why.
no, really, they're actually quite this way. That'd be pretty funny, I think.
Yeah, I'm a deeply devout religious person. Don't you know? Because you're only reading my superego. That's how I was raised.
So that's why you took hallucinogens to see God?
The face of God.
I mean, I'm really interested in the science of psychopharmacology, but knowing myself, I would not participate.
Just a kuchimoya. Your way to it.
Okay, I have a question. Does God look like Idris Elba? If not, why not?
Because he looks like Martin Freeman. Wait, did I say Martin? Morgan. Not Martin Freeman.
Idris Elba is way more attractive.
Yeah,
Oh, that's clever.
Who's that guy? Shoot him!
So she's
Oh,
like
why-
scared of her own people here. And she's a Blade Runner, basically.
Yeah. So, what is the? I know this sounds kind of jacked, but if you literally were forgettable to other species, would it not be best to weaponize this?
You could commit so many crimes.
Yeah.
Get away with anything.
I'd turn your whole bag of dog food upside down in your living room, and you don't even know who did it.
Like, and a culture would become so used to being like this would be the Invisible Man problem. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Well, it reminds me of I had an English teacher who told us that the old golden rule was do unto others as you would have them do unto you, but the new one is do unto others and split.
What?
So this kissing is ridiculous. Like she doesn't love him. She's
How
just
can you
using him.
say that? They shared a yogurt.
Pudding.
Pudding.
They shared a pudding.
The difference is in the details.
Haven't you ever played a dating sim? They're practically married.
You know, honestly, I think after all of these characters being violated and used in such manners,
Mhm.
maybe it's good that they aren't in romantic relationships.
That's what I was saying. Like it's just gonna backfire. Just stop trying.
What was that joke about lower decks? Every time it's romance, it's just an alien shapeshifter who wants to eat them.
Yep.
One of my favorite lines from Lower Decks, it's only tangentially related, but it's from the first episode. I think it's the first, second, whatever. But Boimler is being romanced by this thing that wants to implant eggs in his neck.
Oh,
Ba-
yes.
Mariner shoos it away and like fires a gun. It's like, ah! And then as
So-
it's scurrying away, she just shouts out, "Love, you're so wrong." It's like, because I really... It's
So
like, yeah,
Tuvok-
Mariner doesn't hold a grudge. She knows that's what that species does. It's not a big deal.
Tuvok is hilarious here because Chakotay is trying to put her on the security detail, and he's like, "Well, just put her in with Neelix in the mess hall." I was like, "Why would she be in the mess hall?" He goes, "Well, someone has to protect Neelix from the crew."
Neelix from the crew or the crew from Neelix?
Oh,
Well, the crew is going to be mad over the burned food.
Well, it depends. What percentage of the crew is underage girls?
One of them, exactly.
one.
Hey, Robo, welcome. Welcome.
And he happens to be the Godfather. So I don't know. That's a very odd question.
Technically, two, if you count seven, was her emotional maturity.
What else? What?
Naomi Wildman at the end of the show is older than Kes was when she started dating Neelix.
Which is fucking
That's
wild.
true.
The show's messed up.
I also want to say, by the way, this astrometrics lab kind of makes the whole show. Because in TNG, we could have definitely used this, right? Because we're always, whenever they show us something, a system here, system there, it's in the observation lounge on that little flat panel screen. But here, you get to have this gorgeous visualization and spatialization. It's a fantastic concept for a starship.
Yeah, with Riker's back, they just had to have the plush chairs.
And not only that, but like the Galaxy class has like the space for it.
Yeah. Well, we see it in Generations, and
Yeah,
The
they do
Galaxy
that-
class
they
has
do that
way
way.
more space than it will ever need.
Yeah, I think someone did the math on it. It would end up being like rather empty, even with full crew complement.
Yeah, they said you can go like 100 meters without running into another person if everybody was evenly distributed.
Like I used to
That'd be
joke about
uncomfortable.
I used to joke about like the size of the quarters in the Galaxy class, and then if you actually take into account how big it actually is, they're pretty cramped.
okay,
Yeah,
but
in a Galaxy class is also a lot of families, I believe. So
Yes.
yeah, but even counting that, but
Yeah,
what I want
But like
Ops,
60%, 60%
about
of the ship is just empty.
Yes,
according to
every
the
crewman
blueprint.
on board could have a quarters the size of a house, and they'd be fine.
Okay. Here's what all of you are neglecting to remember is that the starship is also meant for evacuation operations, and it can hold 40,000 people in its cargo bays and stuff if we need to evacuate a planet or something.
And when they go
You
on
can
hard
hold a
times, they
lot
use it
more
as an
people
Airbnb.
if you can hold a lot more people on the ship if you just put them all through the replicator, recycle them into energy.
And no, honestly, if I recall the first 2 seasons of TNG, the Enterprise was just Uber.
So, what were you saying, Purple?
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think everyone spoke over
I
you.
mean, I was going to say, extending on the joke about, having its services be rented out, it goes into orbit, it could be used as a hotel and, when transporting, it has already been used basically as, a courier and an Uber.
Yeah. It's a Space Hilton. Is that CGI broken pottery? That looked wrong.
that was weird.
Why was that CG?
This is so eerily reminiscent of Deep Space Nine because like Dominion transporters can show up at any point, and that's what these people have.
They show up at any point and take you to an abstinence cult.
Shooter.
Here's the,
Garneth, shooter.
his phaser is so weird here. I was almost expecting that they don't really kill her; they just transport her away.
No, I think it's the mind wipe.
Yeah, it's a mind wipe, but it looks like a phaser for us. Like I mean, for normally when you're used to this. The Men in Black thing, the flashy thing.
Neuralizer.
Yeah.
So why are they making them forget about the outside world? When
So
you
that they
can
don't want to live there. It's like Room Spraga, except they force you to come back by erasing your memory.
like you could weaponize this. Like culturally speaking, these people would be thieves, pirates, assassins.
A way to stereotype.
No, I mean,
No, but like if you take into account that
H.G. Wells wrote The Invisible Man, and like,
exactly, like this is the Invisible Man problem.
You mentioned that earlier. What is the Invisible Man problem?
So basically, the Invisible Man starts off as a scientist, and he becomes invisible except for the tiniest little pinpricks in his eyes because he still needs to see, and it's surprisingly like scientifically accurate. He's not transparent; he just reflects light differently. So he still needs like his tiny little pinpricks of his eyes to see, and over time, he's pretty sane, but like when he can't or won't fix himself, he like goes on a mass crime spree.
It's a good
And
story.
he develops a god complex.
All right, interesting. Yeah.
So if you macro that over an entire species, once they become warp capable, there would be a certain culture that would have developed.
There's
I
also
guess so. I guess like in this case, I sort of assume that these like forgettables are like kind of like an SCP that as soon as if some time passes, you just forget about them, which is kind of an eerie idea that maybe any information, anything has a higher entropy rate associated with it. So even if you take a scan of them, that the information gets corrupted unusually fast. Like that'd be an interesting premise to explore again and again. Have these people be antagonists that are both forgettable for both in one sense and then also reusable in another. But they just do it once and then they do it kind of in a dumb way.
There's like some Ben Affleck movie where he's an intelligence agent, but his mind is wiped every time, and that like someone tries to like tell him, "Hey, your agency's kind of shady, and that's why they're wiping your mind every time." And he has to piece together all the evidence like a puzzle of who he really
All
is. And
right, I gotta get ready. I just wanted to stop in and say hello.
we missed
Goodbye.
you.
Well, hello.
Aw,
Have a
nice
good day,
to
bro.
meet the new purple.
Crew.
Oh yeah, sorry. I just had to drop in
And
because I'm a fan of
Kosh.
Voyager and I've been like watching already. I'm like, I should just pop in.
Yeah, man.
Hop in.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah, maybe I need to be more considerate and I don't know, introduce myself or something. I don't.
Please.
No. You just drop in and start talking. It's fine.
Yeah, it's totally
I
fine.
don't know. Maybe we
Fine,
can introduce after. I don't know. I wasn't sure if we interrupt the episode, then when
We just
our
say, "Hey
funny
you,
witticisms.
hey you."
I'm sorry for my weird and exotic accent. If you didn't notice, I'm not a English-speaking person.
How dare
You
you
speak
not
very
have an
well.
American accent?
I mean, you speak more than one language. That's better than
I'm-
90% of Americans.
I'm doing my best.
You speak
Come
very
across
clearly. Yeah.
I have no problems understanding you. I am kind of curious what your accent is. At first, I was Scottish, but I don't think
He's
that's the case.
No.
Argentinian, or wait, he is
Canadian.
Brazilian.
Portuguese.
Brazilian.
So you speak
Okay.
Portuguese?
Yes. No, I'm guessing.
Ah.
By the way, that was my guess.
No, actually, I'm a Benside. No, I'm from Spain.
Ah.
Oh, okay.
Spain. Ah, okay. That makes okay. Well, hello. Are you from Spain? From Spain. You must be quite late there at this time.
Well, yeah, a little bit.
But Star Trek is worth it.
Exactly. Star Trek,
So,
and Ryan said
The
it.
sun never
was
sets
it.
in
Yes, it is.
space.
Ooh,
So
that's
what's
that's a
her
good
deal?
line.
She like she's a double agent, right? Because obviously, no one's who they
She's
say
not
they
a-
are.
She's not a double agent. She showed up as a space cop, fell in love with Chakotay, came back as a fugitive, and now she's going to be a space cop again.
Oh, because they wiped her brain again. Okay.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
she's
So
back
now
to being a good
they did a
officer.
factory reset on her.
Okay. Okay.
That's a really good analogy.
But so he really wants her, and she's like, nah.
Yeah, Chakotay doesn't get to be happy.
You ever see that one episode of TNG called like The Outcast or something?
Yeah, with the
With the
androgynous.
androgynous species.
And Soren gets like brain surgery.
Yeah. It's very
She
similar
goes,
to that.
she gets conversion therapy, and it works. And
Yeah,
it's a very
that-
confused
that whole
moral
episode
message.
is very, very like scary, very dystopian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it was
Well,
supposed to be about homosexuality, but these days it comes more across as trans rights issues.
Yes. Star Trek
Yeah.
inadvertently made one of the best trans episodes back in the 80s by accident.
Yeah, I was doing a full watch through, and that was the same thought I have. I'm like, they kind of nip this a little bit, but it's also really like kind of speaks to things about identity and being attracted and attraction to people. I was like, wow.
Only because they didn't want to overtly address the gay issue. So that's why.
They avoided the gay
Oh.
issue and then landed straight into the gender issue.
Yeah.
They go over
Which episode
pronouns.
are
They
you
talk
talking about?
there's an episode in TNG called The Outcast where Riker falls in love with and
Oh, the
a member.
Outcast. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I know one.
They're non-binary according per our.
And Jonathan Frakes wanted the character to be played by a man, but no. Thanks, Rick
Howards.
Furman.
And I think they just like
That's
put
true.
their gametes in a pod or something.
Yeah, that was correct.
Thanks. Because if I made that up, that would be weird. But okay, good. I'm not.
I just remember,
remember
they
it being like a
reproduced in
fondue
some
thing.
fondue. No,
Sorry, I have an unnatural obsession with humanoid anatomy.
Okay. Well,
We
By
can
humanoid,
create
I
that.
mean alien humanoid anatomy.
yeah, it would be interesting to like do the mixing of gametes
by
outside.
tomorrow afternoon, you will have forgotten this episode. It's better
But,
that way.
like,
But I mean, that's how fish do it.
So we're cool with the computer virus. You didn't like review the code or anything. You just okay. It's fine, I guess.
Oh man.
I saw this video about a Russian spy. He was KGB. He lived in America. He married, settled down, and he decided to like not go back to Russia. So he just like became like legit as an American citizen. And like he did time or whatever, but now he has a wife and kids. He loves them, but he thinks about his wife and kids in West Germany, or what was West Germany or East Germany, and he misses them. But he has 3 daughters here, and he says, "Well, they need me now." So it's like it's really crazy because when you're an intelligence operative and you decide to defect, you literally have to leave that family
Wait,
behind.
wait, look at that pencil. That's so bad.
What do you mean?
Look how thick it is.
It's a
He's using
space
an-
pencil.
He's using an ancient writing implement.
It's not ergonomic.
You can't
Like,
even
wouldn't
rest it in the crook between your fingers because it's short.
Did you know that there's an eraser pencil? Like in the entire where the graphite should be, it's a thin little line of rubber for erasing stuff.
Stupid.
Why?
Yeah, they're not too great.
They're for
What's the
artists to
point?
like to erase, like do small erasing of drawings.
Okay, that
Oh, I
makes
could see
more
that.
sense.
I'm a left-handed person, and so I tried using such a thing, but it smears quite a bit worse than graphite does. So it's like kind of a draw for me.
I mean,
But
you could pull a Da Vinci and just write everything backwards.
then I have to read it later.
Just pull a 21st century and don't write anything ever
No.
on physical paper.
Purple. I don't mean like a pen that you can erase. I mean like an eraser pencil where instead of like ink coming out or dark graphite coming out, it's just a rubber for.
Oh, rubber comes out. Oh, interesting. I
Yeah,
wonder
yeah.
how well it sticks to the paper then. It'd be fun to draw with just applying rubber.
No, it's
So far, like my favorite are like gel pens because they dry very quickly and very strong line.
I use fountain pens.
Fountain pens are nice, but they're kind of fussy and
Messy.
they're an esoteric thing. If you're into them, you're into them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I respect
am
who
into-
you are, but I can't.
I mean, I was
was
into
fun.
calligraphy.
that was Star
awesome.
Trek. We did it.
Looking for Parmak in all the wrong places.
We already watched that episode.
No, but this episode was also looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yeah. Poor Chakotay. He doesn't
You
get
know,
a
they're
girlfriend.
kind of like the
he doesn't-
Medusans.
Are they?
Yeah, like you can't really look at them and you really can't perceive them. It's kind of Lovecraftian in a way if you think about it.
If you say so. So, next week's episodes are nothing. But the week after that, we're going to do Living Witness, which is Janeway Genocide for realsies this time. Demon, with the
Yes.
duplicates, silver-blooded duplicates. And one where the guy who plays the Nazi, who looks like a Nazi, plays a Borg drone from the future.
Oh, cool.
On brand.
Sounds like a treat.
Nice meeting you, Kosh and Purple.
Same ways.
Yeah, next week, nothing next week. Taking one weekend off. I'm gonna go to
Means
something
good.
else.
It's Halloween.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, chat.
Yeah. Happy Halloween to everybody, and I have a blast, man.
Happy
Likewise, have a
Halloween
good
to
one.
all, and to all a good night. Is how this
Have a
goes, I believe.
sublime Samhain. Bye.
Thank you for your comments.
Oh yeah,
Meet
and
the
we're
dead
supposed to say the
halfway.
week shall perish. The week shall perish. We'll be back in 2 weeks.